So just me this time of night having stupid thoughts as I normally do. Um, Back in the day, when I was when I was a kid, back in the day, 20 years ago, or whatever it was, a while ago, I worked with a bunch of people. There was 2 or 3 guys that were like my bosses or whatever. We were friends. And all 3 or 4 of them knew more about me than I knew about all of them put together. Because I'd share, I'd talk. For some reason, I stopped doing that. Last place I worked, I wouldn't say anything, really. I don't think I did much. Because I knew that I was always going to be on the other side of things. I always knew that. Right? Like I couldn't talk about Ukraine because I know where everybody stood. It was obvious, so I couldn't give my opinion. And most everything else that was happening in the last 10 years, 15 years, I didn't want to give my opinion because no one would agree with it because everybody was different than me. Anyway, I'm looking into this Venezuela shit. I'm not really looking into it. I get my snippets off of Facebook. I find it really interesting that the entire world, I can't see with my glasses on, not that I need to see. The entire world, the ICJ or the International Court of Justice, or all these world laws and governing bodies that agree with these laws, say that Netanyahu is most likely a war criminal and he's committing a genocide right now. The only country that disagrees with the rest of the world is the United States of America. I agree with the rest of the world. I disagree with the war in Ukraine. I believe that it basically was started because the United States of America wanted a war and they were trying to push NATO closer to Russia. And also in 2014, there was Russian communities inside Ukraine that wanted to belong to Russia. And the Ukrainians were killing those people. If you don't know that fact. That is a fact. But anyway, I digress. I find it interesting that the entire world, and the fact that I don't have friends, this is why, because I go against what most people believe. So I can't even have conversations with people. Anyway, the entire world believes that what Israel is doing is a war crime. The only country that doesn't agree is the United States of America, but that's because they're run by Israel. So now I find this awesome. I find it funny. I was thinking in my head, you brought in all these immigrants from all these different countries. And now you're walking into countries like Venezuela and kidnapping presidents for drug crimes, for having machine guns. The entire world is watching. I was just watching a meeting of the United Nations. And it's like every country is looking at the United States of America and saying, hey, fucker, you're breaking international law. And in the end, what this means is for 2 years, 2.5 years, the United States of America has been breaking international law by paying for the genocide of Palestinian people. Do you really think that Trump in the United States cares about international law at this point? Do you think they won't take Greenland at this point? Do you think the word international law means fucking anything at this point? This is where we are now. China, Russia, Denmark, probably every country is saying, yeah, yo, United States of America, bad fucking move. So anyway, I was saying something about immigrants. I'm not anti-American, anti-American, but it would serve you right if all the immigrants you brought in, and like Cubans, Venezuelans, fucking South African, whatever, all the different countries you brought in, it would be kind of cool if you actually did bring in some terrorists and they finally got together and started fucking up the United States from the inside out, like the WEF is doing on purpose. Like, that's why the whole thing is happening, is because the WEF wants the entire planet to be on fire. And most of you don't know who the WEF is, and that's why I don't talk to people, because these are the things I think about. These are the things I find interesting. Nobody else cares. There's no reason for me to care other than it's the earth I live on. And like I said, if all the other countries attack the United States, leave Canada alone, because we're just fucking dumb, We're just stupid. When I say I'm the dumbest guy in the room, look around at all the countries. You want to talk about Somalia and the Middle East having the lowest IQs? I don't think IQ really matters. I have opinions, and I'm pretty sure I have a low IQ. But Somalia and shit, everybody get together and attack the United States of America from the inside out? I wouldn't feel bad for you at all. Not one fucking bit now. Not one bit. If the United States of America was attacked internally and millions of innocent people were slaughtered, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't have a feeling. It'd be like a Palestinian. I'm sorry. It'd be like an Israeli caring about a fucking dead Palestinian baby. They don't care. Because Israelis are so bad. Palestinians are so bad. That's how I feel about America now. And that's how most of the world's starting to feel about the United States of America. Just wait till you take Greenland and see what happens. Because at some point, NATO has to stand up and say, yeah, well, this can't happen. That's what NATO's for, is to stop countries from taking other countries. They just didn't plan on a NATO country taking other countries for no fucking reason. So, two things. I don't have friends because these are the things I talk about. And so I don't have anyone that would agree with me. And so in normal human function settings, I don't talk about this shit. I'm not stupid. But I'll post it on the internet. And that way I guess you understand and know why I don't generally talk to people, because it's either going to be an argument or one of us is going to think the other is mentally retarded. So I don't bother. But I do like to share my opinion for some reason. I guess because I get no blowback. I don't get any comments saying, "Oh, you're a fucking retard." I'd like a comment telling me how stupid I am. Apparently, I like arguments and shit and debates. But anyway, there was a whole video just now. I didn't watch it, but it was, how did this lady become the first lady of Venezuela? And they spent 15 minutes or whatever on this Maduro's wife. Why did I not ever see a program of how did this fucking immigrant become the first lady of the United States of America? How did that happen? There's no show about that because we don't want to slander or slam the first lady of the United States of America. Anyway, Maduro ran a country and he's being charged with having machine guns, which is an American war on American soil. But they're charging a Venezuelan for the crime of having access to machine guns. They're holding him accountable for crimes of drug trafficking. You have Venezuela here, and right over here you have Colombia. Where do you think your cocaine's coming from? You got to go through Colombia to get to that stretch of land. Or you can use boat, but not from Venezuela. Anyway, I won't be surprised if there's like, it would almost be nice to see, not because I want to see innocent people killed at all, but I think the United States of America needs to get a taste. And then that'll just make them mad, right? But they need to get a taste of their own fucking actions. And that'll get them mad and that'll cause a war. Well, I don't know what's going to happen with Venezuela if Cuba and Iran and China and Russia have anything to say physically about it. That might be a problem for the United States. Like, Venezuela isn't a small country. Well, it's not that big, but it's South America that, it's America, so really Donald Trump owns it because it's in our hemisphere, therefore we own it, and Venezuela is stealing our oil that's under the ground of Venezuela. Just me wanting to yap for a minute. So if you ever wondered why I just sit in my car at lunch and coffee, I don't really have anything to talk about that anybody would want to talk about. Who wants to talk about this shit? Nobody. So I would just sit in my car and listen to music or a podcast and just chill out and then go do my job. And, I like my people I worked with. We had friends, we had conversations. We just didn't talk about anything that mattered. Unless, like, your fucking mom died or some shit, then, we'd talk about that. Or your dog died, or your cat died, or whatever. Those are important things. What you did on the weekend, I don't know. I don't care. Anyway, just saying, this is why I don't have any friends. Because I look at my own videos and I realize, yeah, I'm not really a fun guy. I'm not really a funny guy. I'm not really a happy guy. Who the fuck would want to hang around with me? That's who I am. Who would want to visit with me? I wouldn't. Well, I would because I'd be like, yeah, man, you're right. I like the way you think, right? Anybody I visited with, they would say, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'd be like, dude, you watch too much TV and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I watch too much fake news on the internet and you watch too much fake news on the TV. One of us has got to be kind of right. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. And now I'm going to stop this and post it and watch myself talk. Because I don't know. Because I'm a loser. Let's see. 3-4 months from now. Let's see what happens first in Venezuela. If that turned out to be as easy as they think it was. And then if it does turn out that easy, which I really highly doubt, we'll talk about Greenland in 4 months. And we'll see if there's any point in time where the world, why doesn't the world say, fuck Israel, and do something about it if the whole world thinks it's wrong? That's another question. And when America does what it just did, and then 4 or 5 months from now it goes for Greenland, is the world going to do anything about it? Or are we all scared? Kind of reminds me of the Jews and the Germans. What did it take to stop a country? What did it take to stop a man? I don't really understand what the wars were about, other than at some point in time the whole world got against a group of people and won the war. And I'm pretty sure if the whole world got against the United States, they should get against Israel, in which case the United States would have to make a choice. Are we Israel? Is that who we are? They're bombing it. We must be Israeli, because we're going to have to go die for them now. That's what should be happening. But what's going to happen with Venezuela, and what's going to happen when the United States tries to take Greenland and then Canada? Is anybody going to do anything? Or is there still this thing, the law of the land, never again, says the Jew? You see what my questions are? I don't know. It's just me being fucking weird. These are the things I think about because I don't want to think about my own shit life. And the reality is I'll never get out of where I'm in. I don't want to think about that. So I think about these shits.